Hi everybody, this is Anna Feleo and with me is Anthony Vincent Bova, and this is Acting, Life, and Everything in Between. So cheers! Good morning! When you talked about sense memory, you mentioned several times about instrumental block. That's an instrumental block, right? That person needs instrumental work. I'd like for us to talk about what is instrumental work. What is an instrumental block?
The answer is it's how you utilize your body, mind, voice, emotional range, psychology, how you use or not use it. So when you see an actor and they have no range, well, there's different reasons for that, right? One reason is that their emotional, psychological elasticity is not stretched. If it's truly stretched, they could have more range. And if they trusted themselves more, they could have more range. Things like this are psychological and emotional blocks that we're talking about. They're instrumental blocks. Now, why is this important? Is because so many actors, they'll say something like this: I'm really kind, loving, and godly, but I'm playing a satanic character, so I don't have to worry. It's not me, it's the character, right? Those actors inevitably act evil, act satanic, act in this, and you usually could see it because they feel like they don't have that range. They're not evil. They've judged it, no less, as this bad thing, this ungodly thing, because, well, we're all evil. And, we all have evil in us, I should say. We all have hate in us. We're human beings, right? And I give some very good examples, and I'm going to switch the scenario around. So many women have come to me, especially in the Times Square Theater when I was working in that theater. They'd say, I got a role, Anthony, and it was back to the evil. I have to play this wicked type of character. Yeah, this wicked character, but I was always brought up to be prim and proper and to, women are to be seen and not heard and men don't cry kind of thing, right? What is she going to do? Well, you have to work in areas, in this example, with that actress, or how you could say actress or actor, doesn't matter, in the area of rage, for her to have access to these dark colors, and so she could access something real as opposed to try to act evil. One of the challenges I see actors fall into in acting is that they're prejudiced to different emotional life. They validate one set of emotions but invalidate another set. So when you do that, you're really making yourself smaller and smaller and smaller. But if I go there, Anthony, then, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, you should practice going there in a safe place so you learn emotional management. Because whatever you are not able to manage will manage you. That's just really important. So in dealing with instrumental work, are you open, free, available emotionally, psychologically, physically, intellectually?
Can you not just solve that when you're doing the material already?
Try it. Try it. That's the only thing I can say is try it. And if you hit a brick wall, then or if you're just getting this much and you need to get that much, the answer is you need to open yourself up to that other part more. You need to practice it. I want to talk about a sexual block. This woman, she did it was a one-woman show, and it was in New York here. And it was very graphic, very sexual, it was, not in declothing or anything like that, but in the language, and it was very graphic, And she goes, I'm not delivering on this. I'm not delivering at all on this. I'm like, well, let's see what's going on. And she was doing, 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the piece, and I looked, and then she stopped, and she's like, should I do a sexuality workout? Like a blatant sexuality workout? And I'm like, nope, you don't need it.
What was the block?
Psychological. So I said, you could touch yourself from here until the cows come home. It's not going to help what you're going through right now. It's not going to work. What you want to do in this particular situation is let's talk about crazy fantasies in that area. And she looked at me like this, like, what? I'm like, yeah, just talk about it, right? Just giving herself permission for her brain to even go in these areas was the freedom that she needed it wasn't the physical thing at all. And it's easy to kind of default to that because it's really easier to, many times that doesn't touch the block. Sometimes it does, but not in this case.
It wasn't a physical issue.
No, it wasn't even an emotional issue. She was comfortable that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went there and things exploded. And then when she went into the scene again, now there was
Space.
It was evocative. There was something beautiful when she went back in. And here's the interesting part. She wrote the play. So why am I saying it that way? She had it in her mind enough to write it out, but not enough to talk about it. You see?
Interesting.
Fascinating. Supposedly, it was in one of those festival things that she got past a certain, like the play was accepted, and then it was down, not to the end, but she was entering the preliminary stages, and she just couldn't. She was afraid of it. So that was a psychological block. It's not always emotional. People think it's always an emotional block, and no.
Sometimes you really don't know what prejudices you have until it's presented to you. Oh, I have a question. There are times when I get very demanding with my actors. I don't know if demanding is the right word, but I get in there because I get a feel that the actor, like, we found the blocks or we found the challenges and we're on it. But there are times when I stop and I don't push too much the actor. When the actor is going through something that's fresh, I don't push too much on that. When the actor just lost somebody. Yeah, I tell them, don't even join the workshops for a while. Rest, try to heal, try to process it. What are your views on when to get in, when to?
It's such a delicate question. Strasberg, he had a very specific timeline on when there's a certain tragedy that happens, not to touch it for X amount of time. I forget what that time is. You know what? When you have tragedy and you're going and you have trauma, you don't want to. There's Rumi. Bring him into it.
Okay. To those of you listening, Rumi's now on my lap. He likes to be in the middle of any conversation. When he's left out, he throws a tantrum. So he's right here right now, and he's looking at his puppy. So anyway, going back, you said Lee Strasberg has.
Yeah, no, there was a very specific time. I don't have a specific time because I don't think that trauma has a time, an exact time. I think, but one thing I do want to say is actors tend to say, I got to use it. It's so no, don't.
Yeah. Oh, you just had a trauma. Oh, your friend just died. This is perfect. No. You're gonna use it.
No, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and we have human mechanisms to protect, right? You don't want to violate those. Allow yourself to be protected. It's an important part of recovery. You have to allow that and give it time. I don't know what kind of time. Do you know, Rumi, do you know how much time? Huh? That's how much time he wants.
But you're saying you must allow the body to recover. You must allow your body to breathe a little bit.
Allow the body to protect. With acting and the work that we do, it's always about opening up. Yeah, but you also got to give yourself permission to protect.
But you must tell your teacher also if you're going through something very traumatic or you just went through something very delicate. I encourage that so that I don't I kind of get a feel when it's something very fresh and I don't get in there. But sometimes, I miss it. So I always tell my actors, if this is something very delicate right now, let's honor that.
You're reminding me of an actress came to me, 12 years ago this was, and she said, I just want you to know I had an 2 weeks ago. She goes, but I'm fine, so you can do anything you want. And I said, well, thank you for telling me. Well, I'm not going near that. But I'm fine. Not in my book. I don't care if you're fine. I'm not taking the license to go into that. And she was a bit, not annoyed, but like, I know me. Yeah, a little bit annoyed. I know me, and I'm fine. You can't just say, oh, okay, you're fine, let's go. Let's go in. So I'm very conservative that way, because I really want people to protect themselves. Now with her, I don't know if she was really fine. I don't know. No, I'm not in her mind, her body, her spirit. But sometimes the body has reactions later on, all of that. So I didn't touch on that for a very long time. Very long time.
You must respect your body.
Yeah.
You really must.
Respect your emotional, your psychology, your humanity. Respect it. It's not there just to be used recklessly like that.
I remember when my father died, I tried using him a month after. I couldn't. I felt like my whole body numbed out. And for a while, yeah, because the young me.
Yeah. I could do this.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
No, you're a human being. So for a while, maybe it took me a good year of just resting it.
If you got to come to an emotional depth, pick another choice. Just do that.
Instrumental work is so integral. I take a lot of time with instrumental work.
Yeah.
A lot, especially with beginners, a lot. Not every actor is aware of their instrument.
They're not.
So I feel part of my responsibility is teaching them to be independent so they could take their temperature.
Yeah, so they know what they need or don't need. Well, I always go back to personal inventory. I'm going to go into that for a moment. Personal inventory is always a check-in. How do I feel? What am I experiencing? How do I feel in relationship to that person, the set? How do I feel emotionally? Like you want to really, and when you do that, you always want to answer as much as you could in emotionally based answers. But why is that so important regarding to what you're saying? You ready? Here's what it has to do with it. Imagine one day, and I always use this example. It's on one of my promotional videos from back in the day. Imagine one day you woke up and you were on Smith Street in a city that you were never in. And the hotel you're in, you're in Smith Street, and you have to go to Allen Street. But there's no GPS, there's no one around, you don't have a map, and the streets are not in alphabetical order. How do you get from, Smith?
Yeah.
Smith to Allen, how do you get there? Well, what you're going to likely do is what I call meander. You're going to start strolling around, you're going to go a couple of streets that way, and hopefully you'll see Allen, and then you go that way, and then you might have to backtrack and go the other way, and you keep searching and searching. That's how many actors act. They have a sense of where they want to go, but they're not sure how to get there. Now, pick up the name grid, put down a number grid. How do I feel, right? And now if you wake up in the hotel and you're on 20th Street and you have to go to 30th Street, right? You get up, you walk a block and you see, oh, this is 19th Street. What do? You turn around, right? Because you know where you are. Based on knowing where you are and based on knowing where you need to go, now you have a way of getting there. That's what really personal inventory for me, why it is so critical, and from my opinion, for an actor to do, because it gets you to check in, where am I? Because so many times actors are just running after a shadow, you know? They're running after something they think they have to catch up to, not based on even where they are really in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I ask my actor, "Are you ready to work? How do you feel?" "I'm okay. I'm I'm okay. Yeah. I'm good. Let's start."
They're working from here to here, right?
Yeah. They don't know where they are.
They don't know where they are. And it's not necessarily this deep, where am I? Like kind of, it's just really taking inventory. Am I ready to work? Am I ready to have an experience? If not, if there's a block, an instrumental block, what do I need to do to open it up? Because almost all of the success of your work is really based on, are you ready to work? You know, I always tell my actors, you know, the piece of tape, that's the mark you got to hit, right? It's not about what you say in the mark, it's about what got you to the mark. You know, so if we get you to the mark, if you're just like working from here to here, very cerebral, and you're just up here and it won't work for you. You're not going to have a real impactful, not even impactful, but a real experience. That's why I love to always have my actors, I always push for some kind of, if it's not exactly personal inventory the way I teach it and the way it's been taught to me, a clear way of checking in.
Check in.
You've got to check into where you are. The great actors really include the moment. They're not escaping and running after a moment. And that's always exciting. You know, the Meryl Streeps of the world, she surrenders to that moment. You know, we always go back to when you're on the airplane, they always say, put the mask on yourself first before you help someone else. That's what you got to do as an actor. That's the work that we do, is we're doing a lot of taking care of yourself so you don't have to deal with yourself. So you don't get in the way of yourself. You're free and open to work. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're trying to get through the scene as the wounded walking kind of thing.
Ooh, yeah.
You really want to try to be free of that as much as you could. That's why instrumental work, I think, is very, very important.
Thank you so much for listening, for eavesdropping, and for watching us. And I hope you can send us some feedback or comments or ask us some questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can in our next podcasts. Keep listening to us, acting, life, and everything in between. Cheers!
Cheers!
Bye!